You're listening to KYST 89.3, The Bone. The Bone. And now time for South Tucson Youth Football, simulcast on AM 1400, The Growler, and on South Tucson Local Access Channel 22.
Oh, man. Good evening, everybody. It is South Tucson Youth Football. It is week 5. My name is Brian. We are here in the studio. I say we because I mean me. It's the royal we, I guess. But we got hot football action on a Thursday night in South Tucson. It's the start of week 5. And I am joined in the booth by Will. Hi, Will.
Hi, how's it going?
Are we still going with the Will Muschamp thing for you?
I mean,
we can. I don't care.
Please call me Mr. Muschamp.
Okay. Will is my father.
My father calls me.
Oh, good. This is going to be silly already. So we've got a single game tonight, just to go over what's going to happen tonight. 1 game, 2 games tomorrow around afternoon time, and then 2 games on Saturday, again, afternoon time, and that'll be week 5 in a nutshell. But it is rivalry week, Will.
This is in a football stadium.
It is in a football stadium. Yes, rivalry week. We're at the Muni.
Imagine if we were in a nutshell.
That's
how
true.
big that would have to be.
Well, maybe I'm trying to think if we have any legume-related teams that someone could be. They could call their Muni the Nutshell.
Well, I mean, of course you have the Ohio State Buckeyes.
I'm in South Tucson, but okay.
I know. I'm sorry, name dropping.
No, it's fine. Pick those names up.
I mean.
Hey, they took out Penn State. They're all right by me.
If you really think about it, for those of you who don't know that much about me, most people, when they meet me and they eat with me, they realize that I am allergic to tree nuts.
Yes.
And that's a fact about me. A factoid.
A factoid. It's not a fun fact. It's actually the opposite of a fun fact.
I never suggested it was a fun fact.
I really clarifying.
It's a factoid. And so I have a tree nut allergy. Buckeyes, everyone's allergic to them. It's a poisonous nut. You can't. It's inedible.
Right.
And that's what always cracks me up. Because I don't know if you're familiar with this, Brian. There are food items also called Buckeyes that are like.
Yes, so Buckeyes, it's basically an excuse to put chocolate and peanut butter together and consume it.
Exactly.
Without having to buy something that belongs to a guy named Ron Reese.
Yeah, it's like we needed another way or reason to consume peanut butter, sugar, shortening, and chocolate all together.
I've made them once. There is so much sugar in that. It is like a problematic amount of sugar. Like I'm making that. I was actually making them for someone's birthday, and we were just bringing them over. And I was actually like, my girlfriend was measuring out the sugar, and I looked in the bowl and I said, "That can't be right." And guess what? It was right.
You're not gonna believe this, but I've also made them once before too, also for someone's birthday.
Of course, that's why you make them.
I guess this person was from Ohio and they were a Buckeyes fan, so I figured I'd make them Buckeyes for their birthday.
This was legitimately a person who enjoyed peanut butter and chocolate, so that was why.
Does anybody not enjoy peanut butter and chocolate other than people who are allergic to peanut butter and or chocolate?
I don't know. I don't think so.
It's hard to imagine. It's one of the greatest combinations of food we've ever come up with.
I will say in some sort of I Nutella and peanut butter is a fantastic combo. I know that's hazelnut, but who are we kidding? It's chocolate. I know they like to say hazelnut to make it sound like it's a little healthier, but it's chocolate.
Yeah, get that hazelnut shit out of here.
Yeah. But we got two teams tonight. We can continue this while the game's going on. I want to kind of get right to it. So our game tonight is second to Naan Curry Shop. They are 3-1, taking on 2-2 Wandering Lush Irish Pub. Both teams won their opening game in the Foreign Legion. They, of course, are cross-divisional rivals. And they both are looking to continue their conference season by going 2-0. Only one of them will. And, of course, it's a rivalry week game. They are playing for a trophy. It is a trophy we've seen before. They are playing for the Pint of Chutney. I'm so glad that one existed, because that one already existed, because I really didn't feel like having to be creative tonight. They are playing for the Pint of Chutney. And I'm just... I'm going to go ahead and get right to Star Watch, brought to you by Florida Georgia Lime. It's the only thing that's going to refresh quench your thirst and refresh your taste buds when the moon comes up and the sun goes down and you find a little spot on the edge of town. Twist off, sip a little, Florida Georgia Lime.
Do you actually know a Florida Georgia Line song?
Did you listen to the Diddler Cup race? I know exactly two. No, did you not see the? It's from the All-Star race.
It's like the musically cultural equivalent of just letting off a massive fart.
I mean, yeah.
Oh my gosh! Dude, no. Why are you doing that in here?
It's the canned meat of country music. Anyway, looking first at second and on Curry Shop. There we go. We'll go right to left. That is defensive tackle Slut Bumwalla. In the middle is their running back Cedric Malamar. And, of course, quarterback star player Ultamius Warrior. Ultamius Warrior. Yes, on the other side of the football is the Wandering Lush Irish Pub. Two kids missed picture day, but you can see on the left that is quarterback Tennessee Cock. Tennessee Cock. Also on that team, wide receiver Domino Rally, and not pictured, defensive lineman Jumbo Grazonga. Jumbo Grazonga. So do let us know who you think is going to win this one. If you have any clever since second and on Curry Shop are the home team. They are full of force. So if you have any pro second to none signs that you've spotted in the crowd, do let us know. The Pint of Chutney. People just fashion. You know how people make like their own fashion, like their own versions of the Stanley Cup in hockey, and they just kind of hold them up in the thing. Well, people make their own pints of chutney, except they make them out of glass and they fill it with chutney. So it's really a mess when they start passing it around or drop it in the stadium, and it's just really dangerous. But it's an age-old tradition in this matchup. I'm looking to see who won it last season. I'm gonna go ahead and look that up right now and find out. Lush versus Naan. Last team to win was second to Naan Curry Shop, 38-24 last season. So we'll find out. Someone is putting their money on the Irish. Well, there you go. Let's go down to the Muni and find out. You are looking live at Municipal Field, number 55, for our special Thursday night Foreign Legion action. It's second to Naan Curry Shop, the home team in all blue, the India blue, taking on Wandering Lush Irish Pub in gold helmets and pants and white away jerseys. They are receiving the ball, running right to left on your radio dial here on KYST. I'm Brian, joined by Will, and we are going to bring you through whistle to whistle, I guess is what we say. No, start to finish of this game. We're going to bring you the whole game, the entire game here on IRM.
Some other stations bring you 2 quarters of a game.
Yeah.
We give you all 4.
Oh, God.
Although we do only give you 20 minutes of action.
Yes, exactly. So you know, we're not gonna interrupt the finish of the game to report the finish on the local news. No siree. A thing that actually happened in Houston, apparently. That's Ryan Means with a 9-yard catch to get things started off for Wandering Lush. It's 3rd and 1.
That'll make it 3rd and 1.
They are just crossing the 50-yard line.
Well, Ryan means business.
He does. He means business. There you
Just
go.
like
There's
Nick
a
means
sign.
business.
If they were the home team, that would be a sign you'd see. But they're not,
It's also-
so we don't.
Also, Chris Berman's go-to line when he was talking about former Chargers running back Natron means. Chris Berman used to be, I don't even know if I'd say good, but he used to be, like, someone that, like, I thought was funny.
He used to try.
And that may be it. He tried.
And 2nd and 9 are going to start from, I believe, they went for on 4th and did not get it. So 2nd and 9 are going to start from the 48-yard line. 49, actually.
I'm aware that, like, he's a drunk, chill for the NFL. I get that, but a small part of me still likes to hear Chris Berman be Chris Berman and just make up silly names for football players and go through all his like catchphrases.
See, I think when it started to go pear-shaped was when they started to promote it as if it was a special thing, not just letting him call it and letting him throw it in there, and we've got Chris Berman with Chris Berman's nicknames coming up, and it's like, oh, okay, stop making it a thing. Let it just happen. Let it just be him calling the highlights, and he throws them in anyway. Because then it became something he had to perform for.
Remember the Swami?
Unfortunately, I do. That was his NFL. That was his NFL, like, same 5 jokes. Nice spread, huh? Some spread, huh? Always that. And, no one circles the wagons quite like who will.
The Buffalo Bills.
Yes. So these are things that I will never forget because of that.
Although, one of the underrated things from the NFL primetime things would be whenever a player was from Louisville.
Yes.
And Chris Berman would throw to Tom Jackson to say, so-and-so player from Louisville. Always just, that was a good bit.
Oh, God.
That
is good.
Nice little bit.
Well, what I liked about I don't want to say what I liked about it, but one of the things I noticed, there's Tennessee Cock rushing for 12 yards, bringing it to 3rd and 1. Been back and forth so far. Defensive struggle. Both teams have punted on their first possession. One of the things I loved about, that I enjoyed about that Swami bit was he was flat out giving out gambling advice.
Mm-hmm.
He was predicting scores, but there was a little yellow arrow telling you which side was covering or was beating the spread.
Exactly. There was a subtlety to it.
It absolutely was. I mean, and there's like, this is a weird thing that ESPN had toyed with for the longest time. I think they finally kind of come around and realize that, look, we're going to accept the fact that people are gambling on this.
Yeah, they outright do it now.
Yeah, they do.
You watch college football, like game day, whatever. They basically have, they basically have 5 underdog picks that they'll cycle through as a bit. They have like I won't even say a gambling expert, but like their stats guy comes on and is like, here are my 3 picks, based on the spread for games.
That's Quentin Lacey breaking free into the down to the 5, 1st and goal for Warren Lush. Sorry.
Usually one of them is like because a team is like a 30-point underdog, and he's like, that's just a ridiculous.
Yeah,
spread.
they're not gonna blow away with this one. Yeah, I like the fact that, and I discovered this completely by accident. Tennessee Cock throwing it through the uprights. That doesn't count for anything. 2nd and goal. So I have satellite radio in my car, and I love it, and I can't go back. So there is a channel called VSIN. VSIN is the Vegas Sports Information Network. It is basically a gambling on sports channel. It is a channel designed to talk about gambling on sports. That is a touchdown for Wandering Lush. extra point up and good. It's 7-0 with 154 left to go in the first. And I think like Brent Musburger is like one of the main guys on it because you just know once he got out of the booth, he just spends so much time in the sports book. Because like that's not too far of a, that's not too big of a change from just calling the games, except you're actually winning and losing money on it in person, where you know he's got money on the games no matter what.
Oh yeah, Brett Musburger. I think isn't he like employed by like a casino?
That sounds right. That sounds like a thing.
I want to say he's like employed by one of the big casinos as part of like as almost like a personality for like their sports booking section.
You know, I honestly have no idea, but that sounds right.
Not like casino greeter. Although that would be funny.
God, I'd love to have casino greeters. Casino greeters would get punched so many times because people would just be, because some of the people are coming in when they're already down and they're already pissed off. You're gonna get the highest of highs and the lowest of lows as a casino greeter. Okay, so I'm tooling around on my tablet and I just popped on the Watch ESPN app, and there is a match that I need to pull up. It is the Liga Mexicana del Pacifico, which is baseball. It is the Naranjeros de Hermosillo versus the Tomateros de Culiacan.
That makes it 2nd and 10.
And that basically means the Orangers versus the Tomatoers. So I guess the tomato people versus the orange people. One of them sounds racist. And you better believe I'm watching this. I have no idea what's happening. There's one Baja. I don't know what that means. Oh, bottom of the first. Okay. Alright, this has lost my interest immediately.
Baseman.
What has?
Defense.
I'm just not interested in this. It's like, it's baseball, but it's like, it's not MLB.
Still first down.
Are you watching,
It was Mexican League.
Wait, where are you watching the Mexican League?
Watch ESPN.
Really?
Yeah, I just told you they had the Naranjeros versus the Tomateros. The Tomatoers versus the Orangers.
I mean, I'm not gonna, go into great detail about my life here right now.
Yeah.
But let's just put it this way. I had a reason to watch the Arizona League All Stars game.
Personal foul.
Fall Stars.
So I guess you could say that I consume a lot of baseball.
That's fair. And even you wouldn't put on the Liga Mexicana.
I didn't even know that they were. I don't even know they were playing right now.
What's
The Mexican League is like trying to follow I guess they're all the winter leagues are starting to kick up. I never really considered the Mexican League to be a winter league.
I guess not. Second and Naan. Looking to tie this up through old Tamius Warrior, just taking it himself, running it in, and shaking the imaginary ropes in celebration.
Like, I know more about the Australian Winter League than I do about the Mexican League affair.
Well, I gotta say, knowing what I know and not tipping my hat so much, that's not good news for the people who play in the Liga Mexicana. Then
I guess not. That's a more advanced league than the Australian Winter League. I just don't know that much about it, I guess.
Okay, well, there are two teams there are at least two teams. There are the Naranjeros and the Tomateros. I don't know if all the teams have a fruit that has been arrowed. I don't know if it's the manzaneros for applers, or if it's the bananeros, or the plataneros.
I just even
Or
know these games are
uveros for the grapers. Oh God, no, they couldn't be the grapers. They have to be the grapists.
Ugh.
All right, start out the second quarter with an uncomfortable
Look at
joke.
what she's wearing. Purple.
Oh God.
The time you have been great me against the radiator.
God, that is such a terrible and funny sketch. If you don't know what we're talking about the an old sketch show called The Whitest Kids You Know. and it's an advertising meeting for some sort of a drink, a beverage, and the mascot is like the Fruit of the Loom, like grapes guy, and he breaks into houses and he talks about how he's gonna grape the kids in the mouth. And his name is the Grapist, and it's just it's nonstop. It's nonstop rape jokes, but making jokes of the word rape.
Okay, I'm learning a little bit more about what this is. This isn't the Mexican League. This is the Mexican Pacific League, which is like, which is a winter league. Which makes
Why on earth is ESPN even broadcasting this?
I don't even. I don't know. It's a good question. I guess content. The winner of it goes on to play in the Caribbean Series, which is like all the Winter League's winners go to like it's I guess it rotates, but it's generally held, you know, in the Caribbean. Okay.
So it's
as identified by the series name.
Oh, so it's not just a clever name.
No.
I can't say that line, by the way, without like brushing my hair behind my ears. Because that's what Wayne does when he says it. We're all over the place tonight, folks. This is gonna be fun.
Yeah, last year's took place in Mexico, but I know that
noted Caribbean nation, Mexico.
Exactly. It might be like, you know, how the Pac-10 now has Colorado.
Yeah, sure. Why not?
I mean, it's a little bit of a...
How the Pac-10 has Colorado and 12 teams. Oh, no, they're the Pac-12 now. They're the Pac-12 because there's no other Pacs, so you can get away with it.
Exactly.
Whereas the Big
Ten
has
the Big Ten doesn't have 10 teams. I think the Big 12 has 10.
And the Big Ten has more than 12, I think, right?
They should have switched the names. Well, it would be massively confusing. But yeah, all the winter leagues in basically Mexico, Venezuela, Panama, like Dominican Republic, Cuba, they all meet in the Caribbean Series in like a host nation, and all the teams that win play like a round robin style thing.
Like a Champions League kind of gimmick.
Exactly.
Okay.
And it's actually a really big deal because it's like those are the big teams.
Yeah, if you're gonna keep an eye on anything, those are the teams to keep an eye on. That's a touchdown for the Wandering Lush, caught by Julian Irvin.
And usually, teams will send players to these winter leagues, like that are minor leaguers, to get more experience.
Okay.
So it's not like it doesn't really have like a great impact on, like, you know, it's not like, oh, you need to watch the Caribbean Series to find out who the hot new players are going to be. It's not it's entirely what it is.
If you've got a team that you follow and you follow the minor league affiliates, you might know some prospects that are just getting extra reps in, basically getting some actual playing time in their early career kind of thing.
Exactly.
Okay, so that's something you
seek
out.
I was familiar with the Caribbean Series. What threw me off was when you're like, oh, it's the Mexican League. I was like, okay, the Mexican League's like a high-end, like, independent, like, minor league system. It's like unaffiliated baseball.
Okay.
And like when it takes place during the regular season, so I was like, what is going on in November that the Mexican League is playing? This is the Mexican Pacific League, which is also begs the question how they're included in the Caribbean Series.
I mean, you know. Also, what I like about unaffiliated baseball is that anytime I ever see like a clip or something is of note with unaffiliated baseball, it usually involves a fight breaking out at a game.
Yes.
Like anytime it's an unaffiliated baseball organization or highlight from that, it without fail involves something shoddy, possibly illegal, or a fight broken out in a game.
Or Roger Clemens.
Or Roger Clemens.
It's usually just like, oh, here's former so-and-so major league player who's now like 55 years old and is struck out the side.
Yeah, still striking people out. Or it's like here's legitimate legend of the sport getting beamed in a game because the guy before him in the batting order was showboating. That just to me is the funniest concept. It's like, all right.
You hate to see that. Down goes Kurt Flood.
Yeah, Kurt Flood. But it's like if Ricky Henderson just decided to play at age like 52 or something like that.
Ricky Henderson would start a fight.
Oh, true. True. Yeah, bad example. I'm just trying to think of some random like name. Kurt Flood's a good one though.
Bill Spaceman Lee, I think, legitimately still like pitches every now and then for like one of the independent league teams near him.
Spaceman Lee.
Yes.
And that's gonna be 3 points for second to none. They trail by 4 with 75 seconds left to go in this half. Domino Rally returning that one for 17 yards. And yeah. And I gotta say that pint of chutney is smelling a little rank. They moved it away from the sidelines. They had to move it to the studio, and it's just been reeking in here. And it's going to be a flag on the play, so that might be an automatic first down. Yes, it is roughing the passer, so that's going to give Wandering Lush an automatic first down and some yards. Slut Bum Walla called for that penalty.
Bill Lee is a treasure.
Spaceman Lee?
Yes. In 1988, Lee was the Rhinoceros Party presidential candidate. And the Rhinoceros Party was apparently a Canadian federal-level satirical political party.
Amazing.
He ran on a platform. That's why you have to keep that in mind. He ran on a platform of bulldozing the Rocky Mountains so Alberta could receive a few extra minutes of sunlight and banning guns and butter. His slogan was "No guns, no butter, both can kill." I love that slogan, by the way. It's a really good slogan.
I'm thinking about voting for him.
Not the worst option.
Shit, I could have written in for him on fucking Tuesday and not done anything.
I mean, if you really think about it, bulldozing the Rocky Mountains is that's just really slang for, strip mining mountains for coal.
It really does, but I like to take it literally, and I like to think that he drives the bulldozer from Canada, and he finally gets to the Rocky Mountains, and then he stops like off in the distance and looks and realizes they are way bigger than he thought. He's parked about like 2 miles away and just goes, ah, hell. They looked smaller when I was further away.
Exactly.
It's the stupidest thing, but it makes me laugh so hard.
Oh my gosh, my cousin sent me a photo where he was putting his hands over like the top of the mountain. And it made it look so small. He was holding the mountains in between his hands.
98 Weasel! 98 Weasel!
I'm just hearing 98 Weasel being screamed. That of course is one of our sister stations, 98.1, The Weasel. 98 Weasel. Home for all the rock and none of the roll.
What sound effect do you even make for that? Like, you can't be like 98 the tiger.
Yeah, 98 Weasel. I don't fucking know.
Yeah, what do you do? It's a weasel noise.
Michaela, what sound does a weasel make?
And
Would it be something? Would it be something like?
I think you need to stress the importance that that if you ask somebody what the sound a weasel makes it's not like a setup to a joke. You legitimately want to know.
She assumes it sounds like some kind of rat. Well, that's not really loud enough. We're talking about like if you had a radio station called The Weasel. Like 98.1, The Weasel, and then you need to play like a sounder.
I guess it would just be like a rat sucking its teeth.
I guess that's not really punchy. 98.1, The Weasel, home of all the rock and none of the roll. Oh shit, we gotta do a live read. Let me pull the randomizer in here. Fucking professional operation here. This halftime, we're gonna do sponsor corner, sponsor spotlight, local spotlight. We're gonna talk about Kale Whitey. Kale Whitey. You know, kale isn't just for minorities. It's for everybody. Or it's for nobody, because it's kind of got a weird taste to it. I don't know. But kale is in, and it's for everyone. It's an all-inclusive green, leafy vegetable. And the people at Kale Whitey, they like to remind all customers that kale is something that brings people together. That you know that commercial where like there's like protests and the woman is handing a Pepsi to the cop who's in riot gear? Well, what they don't show you is that they beat her within an inch of her life after that, because they think it might be like some sort of explosive device in the can of Pepsi. But if she just handed that cop a bushel of kale, like a literal bushel, he'd be so confused that you probably wouldn't get tear gassed, at least for like 5 or 10 minutes.
That makes it second and 10.
And that's the kind of message that people at Kale Whitey like to promote. Kale Whitey. I don't know, it was just a pun. Alright, back to the second half. It is 14-10. Wandering Lush on the back foot with second to Naan driving down on the opening drive of the second half. Down by 4, but moving pretty well. That's Cedric Malamar. He's going to get 2 on that one. 2nd and 8. Oh, we have found a sound of a weasel. I'd like to hear what this weasel sounds like, how close I am. Press play. I wasn't too far off.
Really not. Okay, hear that again.
Okay, hold on, we're gonna go back to the beginning, yeah. That is the sound of a weasel.
It sounds like when you press rewind on a tape recorder.
It does sound like you're rewinding a cassette tape, or a yeah.
I just need to hear it again because I knew that I'd heard that sound before. It wasn't a weasel.
And it wasn't from your days as a weasel snatcher.
Oh no!
It was from.
I worked on a deaf mute weasel snatching farm.
Yeah. Deaf mute. You worked at the Gallaudet University of Weasel Farms.
Yes.
For those not aware, that is a local joke. Gallaudet University is a university for the deaf in Washington, D.C. And second to Naan taking the lead, 17-14. That's going to be a stretched out catch by Cornelius Fenton. Big play. He's got 73 yards, 2 big plays for Fenton. And Wandering Lush looking to answer right away. 3:18 to go in the third quarter. But yes, no, it was your time. It was your time doing dictation and reporting with a tape recorder rather than your time as a weasel snatcher.
Yeah, we didn't get too far.
No, I get it. It's Quentin Lacey getting 4 yards up the middle, 3rd and 6. I'm not even sure what I have up on my tablet, and I'm not even looking at it. Oh well. It's fine. I'm off tomorrow. I love that. That's fantastic. I'm not working tomorrow, and that is lovely. Because I'm still not used to having, this is the first place I've worked where I get Veterans Day off. Usually I haven't in the past. And so it's still weird to me because I'm not like used to it. Oh, damn it, they lost an OT. So like I get to wake up tomorrow and I still gotta do I gotta just like log in and do something. But I don't have to go anywhere. I can like do the little bit of work I have to do in my underwear if I want to. I won't, that's weird, but you know.
I don't know. Seems like a baller move. Just like because you can.
Yeah. And that is the Wandering Lush returning the favor. Touchdown, Quentin Lacey, under 2 to go in the 3rd.
Let me know. I'm not doing this because I want to do it. I'm doing it because I can do it.
Just because I simply can. I actively don't want to, but it's an opportunity I can't turn down.
Exactly.
And that opportunity is doing work half naked.
It's like dropping a penny off the Empire State Building.
Yeah, I mean, it probably injures somebody.
I don't really want to or even care to, and it could scar somebody for life, but I'm gonna do it because I can.
Oh, God.
I think that's a great metaphor for working half naked. To be quite honest,
Dropping
it came together a lot
yeah.
nicer than I thought.
Dropping a penny off the Empire State Building. I mean, people might die in the process, but you know you're not proud of it. But you got to do it because you have the opportunity to. Anyway, here comes second to Naan. It's Ultimus Warrior. He's going to be sacked for a loss of 1. It's 3rd and 12. And the Wandering Lush defense is coming in at a pretty good time to make these stops. They got to do it one more time and force a punt and silence this second to Naan crowd. They've already silenced them quite a bit since that last touchdown.
Is there any more behavior on Twitter that's more infuriating than somebody that you respect and like utilizing the tool of Twitter to answer the dumbest possible questions from trolls?
Like, for real answering them?
Not for real answering, just to feed the trolls, to engage the trolls, to collect points, to come up with putbacks. It feels like such a waste to me.
I feel like you gotta name names here.
Okay, in a separate chat that you and I are both privy to, we're talking about Dave Meltzer.
Okay.
Dave Meltzer.
Oh, he always does this.
He likes to spend a lot of his time on Twitter answering. Not necessarily answering dumb questions, but fielding the dumb questions that are posed to him, whether they're to troll him or not, to post his witty comebacks. And
I saw that he had a conversation with someone named Assbot.
Yes, exactly. Some of them are funny, some of them are clever, some might be worthy of a retweet. But that's the main thing he does on Twitter. And it frustrates me because I respect Dave Meltzer as a journalist, as a researcher of wrestling history, to as a source of wrestling news, like a respected source of wrestling news for years and years and years. And he's got faults and foibles, and people are more than happy to point those out about Dave. But it just frustrates me beyond end that he utilizes something like Twitter, which could be a tool to educate.
Oh, we've gone way past that stage where Twitter could educate.
I know. I'm being idealistic.
Shine is off that diamond, man.
Okay, fine. I know I'm being idealistic on Twitter, especially when Dave's becoming a trope that's pretty common with a lot of people on Twitter, even some people I like. Bomani Jones is another example of this. Although Bomani was kind of different in how he handled it, where I understood why he did it. Because he felt he had points to prove, and they were important points, rather than Dave just stroking his own ego about dumb wrestling shit.
I gotcha.
But it becomes repetitive, and it feels like a waste of knowledge and a tool. It's just it's a waste. Dave Meltzer is quickly becoming a waste on Twitter. Whereas
well, I mean, it's not like he took that opportunity to feed a troll, whereas because he did, it's not like when Kelly Bundy was on that trivia game show where it's like by feeding a troll he just forgot like the AWA title lineage from 82 to 83.
Well, yeah, okay, but originally when like Dave was on Twitter, he'd do the same thing, but he'd actually field questions from people that wanted answers. And he would give someone, like it would be Dave. So
maybe he's just not getting questions anymore. Maybe all he's getting is sarcastic jabs.
When Dave's gonna respond to all of them, then that's all he's gonna get.
Yeah.
He just ignored some of them.
Maybe
just some of them and answered actual questions or discussed actual things.
Maybe he just digs it. Maybe he's sitting in his living room half naked doing work.
That's the thing.
And he's just thinking. He reads one. He goes, "How do I answer this?" He scratches himself a little bit. Like really digs in there when he's scratching himself, by the way, like heavily. And then does that casual like move his finger to his nose.
I think Dave Meltzer has a hard-on for
right now.
It's conditional, so let me get to the condition. Okay. I think Dave Meltzer has a hard-on for putting down trolls on the internet.
Okay, sure.
And it's just frustrating because at the beginning when Dave was on Twitter, he was answering legitimate wrestling questions of people that wanted to know answers to things that I won't say matter because it's still professional wrestling.
Right.
But they were meaningful questions that could enlighten things about the wrestling business that they may not know, but Dave Meltzer does. And now it's just become a sham of itself, and Dave's just, getting a whole fucking handful. He's got a handful of Cetaphil in his hand, and he's just jerking it.
Oh. Well, Wandering Lush have recovered it. Ultimatus Warrior fumbling on the tackle. It's recovered, and it's Lush ball with 3:39 to go. They're up by 4, 21-17. Wandering Lush looking to recapture the Pint of Chutney, and this is a good chance to kill some clock, move down the field, and maybe get to the point where it's second and on, have to burn some timeouts. So here's the thing, what in the world? Julian Irvin with a 6-yard catch. It's 2nd and 4. So what in the world kind of questions would someone ask Dave Meltzer at this point that they couldn't just look up online to find out the answer? I guess personal experience questions. But I feel like any sort of bit of information, if they really want to, they're going to just find out online.
Maybe.
It's like War Eagle Info, which was a neat little gimmick until everyone had smartphones. You know about War Eagle Info?
I'm not familiar.
It's so it's Auburn University's information desk at their student center, and apparently it was known for being willing to answer any question that you called with. So what started as an information desk was if we were sitting around at a party and we were having a debate and we were talking about movies that Woody Allen directed, let's say. And we're like, no, that one was nominated for an Oscar. No, it wasn't. It was only this one that was nominated for Oscar. And we had no way to settle this. You call them and just say, okay, tell me if this movie by Woody Allen was nominated for an Oscar or not. And like now we can just pull up our phone and look it up ourselves.
That's good for a gain of 8 yards.
I'm legitimately curious if we've gone over this on stream before, because I know I've talked about this recently.
War Eagle
But there's
info
a
or
Pete-
something else?
No, something else. There's a Pete Holmes bit about Google and how it's just ruined like the magic of life.
It did,
And
yeah, I've seen it.
His example is that we know everything now. Like the phone book used to mean something.
Yep.
People actually used to use a phone book, and now the phone book's on the internet. A phone book is just printed out pages of the internet that's given to you, and you just throw it away because it's of no use to you.
Yep. That's a huge penalty, by the way. Wandering Lush, huge play and a penalty. It's first and goal for Lush. If they score on this one, this game might be over with 2 minutes to go. But yeah, I know that bit. The whole concept of the bit is there's no longer a point where we don't know something.
No, exactly.
Because not knowing something, you need to not know something to have the thrill of learning something, of suddenly knowing it. Now it's like, oh God, what was the name of that guy from that movie? Click, click, click. Oh, okay, it was that.
Really, to be quite honest, the only thrill you get like that nowadays is when you do pub quizzes and you follow the rules to not use your phone for answers.
Oh,
Because-
that's a very. You're telling me like people can get away with using their phones in pub quiz? No, that is like a hard rule, like vigilance.
It's a hard rule, but
You're
like
banned if you don't do it.
I know. But my point is, you still have the phone. If you can resist the temptation not to know to try to win the quiz fair and square and not get booted out of the pub, then you do still have the thrill of not knowing. And then when the quiz is over and you hear the answers, that's the thrill of knowing.
But here's the thing.
And
here's the other side of that, because I've done this too, and this is what's sad. In the pub quiz that I've done, there's multiple rounds, and they go over the answers after each round. So it's like 8 questions, okay, and then they go over the answers after you turn in your answers to the quiz master. But the thing is, while they're tallying, I've totally grabbed my phone and looked up an answer. I couldn't even wait until the scores were tallied and I would hear the answer, not minutes later. I needed to know right now, more often than not, because it was something on the tip of my tongue that I'm like, I know this, but I can't think of it, and it's going to bug me. So let's end this suffering right now. That is a huge touchdown for second to Naan. Coming right back. It is 28-23. They might have to go for 2 on this one to make it a 3-point game. Ultimius Warrior passing it in. They drove down in 28 seconds. And they're going for 2 on this one.
Well, the thing about not knowing is that as time goes along and as technology advances, we're still not going to know things because of how we transmit the knowledge of things to others.
Right.
And that it's not always smooth and clean. There's still a ton of oral history out there that hasn't even been documented to paper.
Right.
Much less the paper been transported onto the internet. So when you get deeper into subject matter, and this is where Dave Meltzer comes back into play, I guess. When you get deeper into subject matter, you can theoretically look up anything on the internet and find an answer to it. But that's just a theory, and in practice, that's not always true.
Right.
There's still things about wrestling we don't know the answers to because they happened at a house show and nobody got down the results.
Right. Or very few will do.
At just a base level, there's shows that existed from territories that we have no idea what happened, what the house was, who was there, who won the matches, etc. It's just, and the only way we do know that are from the people that were there and told other people.
Right.
And then they tell other people. And
they
then you
tell
get Purple
two
Monkey
people,
Dishwasher.
And so on. We are down to 47 seconds. Wandering Lush looking to air it out. Oh, incomplete, and it stops the clock. They were going for the end zone, and that is a crucial mistake. I gotta say, this game could have been over if they just ran the football. 4th and 3. They're gonna pass it up the middle. It's officially, the game is officially over. Cornelius Fenton with the catch. And that is going to bring an end to this game. But the Wandering Lush, do they have money on the spread? Are they just trying to run up the score here? They're winning. It's 28-25. They don't need to call this play. They're going to kneel it out anyway and just bring an end to this game. So the final score, Wandering Lush Irish Pub will take the Pint of Chutney from second to Naan Curry Shop. Both teams go to 3-2. Wandering Lush 2-0 to start conference play. They're your winners, 28-25. Will, thank you for joining me. I love these conversations way more than just having to call these myself. So this is fantastic. That's going to be it for us. We'll see you tomorrow afternoon. It's going to be during the day for a doubleheader. We might be doing Gluttony League action on Friday. Until then, for Will, I'm Brian. This has been KYST. So long, Arizona.